Welcome back in one of the Bears Forever Plays YouTube channel. Today is Tuesday, October 15th, and we have football on the weekdays for the next 45 plus days or so. It's the best time of the year. The games might not be the most entertaining games to watch, but at least you got football on your TV. For this video, we're going to be breaking down Troy going up against South Alabama. Before we get to those plays, though, let's take a look at the recap graphic for Saturday. Not the best day in the world. We had a 4 and 5 day on the game picks, 1 and 2 day on the player props. Going to break down all these games. Penn State against USC. USC blows it. Penn State, that Warren kid's so good. He was at the center position, snapped the ball, then ran a route. Amazing catch. I think he had, I want to say he had 25 touches in that game at least. Maybe more. I don't know. 20 touches? I don't know. It was a lot. Penn State took it in overtime. Would have loved for them to score a touchdown and cover the spread, but they did win it by 3 points. Texas, minus 14.5. Took them a while to get going in the first quarter. Quinn Ewers looked bad, but Texas did their thing. The number one team in the country for a reason. They're the best team in the country for a reason. They take down OU. OU offensively looked horrible. Texas wins that game very easily. LSU and Ole Miss, great game here. Another overtime game. LSU had to come back from behind in that game. A fourth quarter drive. They were down by, I believe, 7. Converted a couple fourth downs. Tied the game. Went to overtime. Ole Miss in overtime looked horrible. Had to kick a 57-yard field goal. Made it, but LSU first play, Garrett Nussmeier 25-yard touchdown. So they take that game outright. Oregon outright against Ohio State. Another great game here. I told you in the breakdowns, Will Howard, somehow, some way, he's going to screw the pooch in this game. And I will give him some credit. He played a pretty good game up until the last drive because he slid down with no time left. How do you do that? My God. You got to assume that everybody told him, like, either get rid of it quick, throw it quick, or throw it out of bounds. And he decides to run and slide. And a horrible decision by him, cost him the game. Maybe they could have got a field goal off, maybe not. But or they definitely could have got a field goal off. You might have missed it, might have made it, but at least you had a shot. Washington, plus 2.5 against Iowa. They stunk. The defense was horrible. Classic Washington. Had a really good opening drive, then a blocked field goal, then a missed field goal, then a lot of turnovers. This Washington team, I swear they're good. They just make so many mistakes. BYU, they take care of business against Arizona, win that game pretty easily. Tennessee's got some real problems going up against Florida. They really should have lost the game, but Florida is so bad. I think Tennessee ended up winning by 7. Hand up on this one. Kentucky minus 13. Thought I was what happened here is I got too cute. Vanderbilt, they're frisky. I don't think they're better than Kentucky, but they were on this day. I thought Vanderbilt was going to come out slow and sluggish, but they did not. So shout out to Vanderbilt. That's a good team. That's a good team in the SEC. And then Colorado, I think they were up by, I want to say 1 or 2 in the final drive for Kansas State whenever they went and scored a touchdown in like 2 seconds after Colorado took the lead. But Avery Johnson didn't play well. Shedeur Sanders played really well. I usually dog on Shedeur Sanders. He played a really good game. Had all of his receivers get hurt. Colorado played really tough, but they did not cover the split, plus 3.5. And Luther Burden, over 83.5 receiving yards, should have took his rushing yards. First play of the day, game for Missouri, had a 65-yard rushing touchdown, but did not go over the receiving yards because he didn't play the fourth quarter. Tyler Show, over 281.5. I think he finished with like 250. And then Dylan Sampson, at least we got one on the board with the player props, over 104.5. Didn't look great, but he had a really good fourth quarter and overtime for Tennessee to get the over 104.5 rushing yards. So here's an updated leaderboard. 4 and 5 in the game picks, 1 and 2 on the player props. Let's take a look at the game for Tuesday night. We're going to be looking at Troy going up against South Alabama. You guys know I'm all about transparency, being honest on this channel, about game picks, about props, about what I bet, what I don't bet, what I watch, what I don't watch. I'm telling you right now, I've seen these two teams play one time at PIFA. I saw Troy play Texas State a week ago before their bye week because we were on Texas State. I watched South Alabama going up against App State. That might have been their worst performance of the season for Appalachian State. South Alabama put up 48 points on that team on the road. South Alabama this season, they have been up and down. They've played a couple good teams, including LSU, Ohio out of the MAC conference. I think that's a pretty good team. They battled with Arkansas State last week, losing that game by 2 points. I just think South Alabama has the firepower to put up a big number. I'm going to take them to cover the spread, minus 11.5. And as I'm looking at my phone right now, it's minus 13.5. So we're going to take them minus 13.5 as the play. Troy this season has been very disappointing. They have played a couple good teams as well, including a matchup against Memphis, where they lost by 21 points. Another matchup against Texas State in their last game, losing that game by 21 points as well. Neither one of these teams have been great defensively, but the one thing that stands out the most is this South Alabama offense. They're very explosive. On the other side for Troy, they can't move the ball at all. They have one of the worst offenses in the country. They're only scoring 20.7 points per game. The defense for them has their hands full every single game, trying to keep them in the game, but they're still giving up a lot of points, 27.8 points per game. South Alabama, they should have no problem in this one, putting up a lot of points. They're scoring nearly 40 points per game, 36.5 points per game. That's good enough for top 25 in the nation. Their weakness, just like a lot of teams this season, is that defense, 27.2 points per game. But on paper, the defense has been better than Troy. So really, we got the better defense. We've got the way better offense. The spread's 13.5 because Troy simply can't move the ball. South Alabama almost scores 40 points per game. We also have the two best skill players in this game on the South Alabama side. So I'm thinking we're going to see a lot of explosive plays out of those two. I love Alabama here. I'm going to take them minus 13.5 as the play against the Troy team, which looks really bad this season. For the player props today, we're going to be staying in the same game, Troy going up against South Alabama. We're going to be taking one of those skill players that I was talking about, one of the best wide receivers in this conference. He should make a big impact in this game. Taking Jamal Pritchett to go over 73.5 receiving yards as the play. I'm going to start with that Troy defense. They have been gashed this year on the ground, giving up 207.2 yards per game and a total of 388 yards per game to opposing teams. I don't think that secondary is very good either. I just think that they've been playing some teams and they've been getting blown out, and they decided to run the ball in the second half. We saw that against Memphis. We saw that against Iowa, and both those teams got up by big numbers. They decided to keep the ball on the ground in the second half. So I do think the numbers are a little bit skewed. I think they're a lot worse in the secondary than what the numbers are saying. So I'm going to take a shot on the over 73.5 receiving yards here. This South Alabama team, they're led by a freshman quarterback, Gio Lopez. He started off his season better than anybody probably expected. He has 1,300 plus passing yards, 12 touchdowns, only one turnover, one interception through 5 games. And whenever it comes to his targets on the outside, there is a clear number one. That is Jamal. He already has 36 catches, 532 yards, and 6 touchdowns. The next closest player to his numbers has 12 catches, 224 yards, and 1 touchdown. So he is the best target by a wide margin in this game. He's a massive part of the reason why South Alabama is putting up all these points per game. This is an extremely low number for an explosive player. Give me his over 73.5 receiving yards as the play. And for the next play, we're going to talk about someone I talked about last week. Plays for New Mexico State. He went up against Jacksonville State last week. It's going to be Seth McGowan of New Mexico State to go over 55.5 rushing yards going up against Louisiana Tech. This is an extremely talented player. I'm not entirely sure if you guys remember the breakdown from last week. This guy got a scholarship to Oklahoma to be their running back. He played there for 5 games, and he got into a little bit of trouble with the law, a couple of assault charges, and a couple years later he was playing football in Kansas, but it was not University of Kansas. I think it was a small Division II school. I want to say Utopia or something like that, but he has the talent for those big schools. That's why Oklahoma took a chance on him, gave him a scholarship. The only team that gave him a chance this season was New Mexico State, and you can just tell whenever he's on the field, he's a different breed. He's got all the talent in the world. I think he's got a little bit of problems on the field as well because he didn't get a lot of snaps in the last game. Maybe he's got an attitude problem. Maybe the coaches have a problem with him, but New Mexico State, they're going to be down one running back already in this game. He got carted off the field in the last game going up against Jacksonville State. So I do think Seth's going to see a little bit of an extended role. He did cash a number for us last week. It was 52.5. This time it's 55.5. Hopefully we do see a little bit more competitive game because they got absolutely waxed against Jacksonville State last week. He was able to put up 58 yards on 14 attempts, but whenever I was watching the game, I'm almost positive he lost yardage or got 0 yardage on about 8 attempts. There was one drive he lost 4 yards on 2 carries. Then the third carry, he got a safety. So really, it's like 6 or 7 carries for 58-plus yards. So this guy, he's extremely explosive. You can see it on the field. If he gets one little sliver of light, he's going to break one for a touchdown. I'm going to take him over 55.5 rushing yards as the play there. Let's go over to the recap graphic. We're going to take South Alabama. They're minus 13.5 now. So not 11.5, 13.5. Jamal Pritchett to go over 73.5 receiving yards. And then Seth McGowan to go over 55.5 rushing yards going up against Louisiana Tech. Guys, it's going to do it for the NCAA football plays and props for Tuesday, October 15th slate of games. If you guys enjoyed the content, please sure to drop a like on this video, and thanks for watching.